Islam. If there is anything lovely, if there is anything desirable, if there is anything within the reach of man that is worthy of praise, is it not knowledge? And yet who is it that obtaineth it? The statesman proclaiming that he have it, the ruler of the people claiming the praise of it, but find it the subject that he possesses it. Evil is not requisite to man, neither vice can be necessary to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are committed by the convenience of the laws? How many crimes committed by the decree of the council? But be wise, O rulers, and learn, O thou that art to command the nations. One crime authorized by thee is worse than the escape of 10 from punishment. At this time, I'd like to recite the Moorish American prayer because this is the source from which I draw my strength. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. First off, I'd like to rise, rocking my soul in the bosom of Abraham, giving praise to Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible, the one who stretches forth the heaven with his hands, who have described with his fingers the courses of the stars, who set it bounds to the ocean that it cannot pass, and said to the stormy winds, be still. I'd like to give honor to the lily of the valley, the bright and morning star, talking about none other than our holy and illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I'd like to give honor to all of those, and honor to all of you, that have and will aid and assist us in this, our divine and gigantic mission, the uplifting of fallen humanity. And last but not least, I'd like to give a special honor to effort, because so many of us don't even try. I'm honored to be able to come back before the Moorish Voice television broadcast and talk to you. The prophet say in all the world there are but two things. So I want to talk to you about one thing, and that is the truth. And what I want to talk about this afternoon is something that's really important. You know, in our book here, it says, when was the head of Satan taken off? And the lesson is 1453. And it say by whom? It say by Muhammad. So we know in 1453, we Moors were still in Spain, teaching the gospel of the everlasting and the resurrection of the dead. So they say the Moors fought with the Ottoman Turks to restore the Islamic creed. When was the head of Satan taken off? I remember Sister Tiggs Ill used to teach on this lesson, and she used to pass it down. Sister Tiggs Ill is out there in Moorish Home #2. And I be hearing a lot of sisters talking about why the sisters don't get together and formulate something so we can start producing clothes and everything else. But that paperwork is in Washington, D.C. That paperwork that Sister Tiggs Ill was dealing with, all you have to do is see the Grand Sheik. Because the brothers and sisters that I remember that was elders, this is where they used to get their clothes from. They was wearing the Moorish garb that Sister Tiggs Ill and all the other brothers and sisters was using to bring about progress in the Moorish Science Temple of America. And when I first heard about a few things, and we dealing with the Moorish Science Temple of America, it become real important, because we just finished talking about when the prophet sent the sheiks and sheikahs out of Chicago and Washington, D.C. to go find the prophet's gravesite. And they done all of that. And they too remembered Sister Tiggs ill because she was in charge of putting the clothes and things together for the brothers and the sisters. But then they was talking about religion. What is our religion? It's that our religion is Islamism. You know, a lot of times we talk to brothers who say, Islam, or Islamism, brother. Islamism is not a religion. Our religion is Islamism. Our faith is Islam. And faith is the surety of the omnipotence of Allah and man. So now I had to sit with a few brothers from my hometown. And my hometown is Washington, D.C. You know, I talk to a lot of brothers all across the country right now. A lot of them left Washington, D.C. They no longer in Washington, D.C. They left somewhere because a lot of them was being reoppressed inside them Jones. And they had a man, a lot of them, you know, because they were scared. And the man that they had, a lot of them, claimed to be Moorish American. And if you find a Moorish American that's going up in all these brothers and sisters, faking like you wouldn't know what you are, then you out of order. I remember a brother that was a member of the Moorish Science Temple, but he's going to go over there with them other dudes anyway. And brothers who called themselves ill obeys went in them. A couple of them that I knew. And they went in them and had them walking with them every day as if they was a child, but they was the boy. And you see this every day. But this is a homosexual activity. Because if you see a man dealing with another man, he's a homosexual. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you look at it, because in all the world there's two things. There's Asiatic and there's European. And if you're Asiatic, you're taking on the Europeans' concepts and ideology because you're doing the things that they do in Europe. Man can't serve two masters at the same time. You got to love one and despise the other. So as a Grand Sheik, there was many days that I had to sit down and talk. And the bad part about it, you know, when I grew up, they had a place called the National Training School. I ain't never make it there. This was before my time. I never was able to make it to the National Training School. I went no further than Cedar Knoll and Maple Glen. But I met most of these brothers who was vantage takers. And when you call yourself a vantage taker, then really you're a European. We have a lot of brothers. We have work that we have to do. We have European subject matter that we have to do. And you take these brothers, these young brothers, instead of teaching them and trying to raise them up to learn to love instead of hate and go home and be a better father to your children and a better husband to your wife because you're under these conditions. And a brother told me, he said, hey man, what you call came around there with his man T, and they came around and asked me did I need any help, and I said no. He said, but Lynch-Bey, I'm scared to death of this dude, man. Everybody else was too. He had me doing everything. He even had me wearing makeup. Had me wearing makeup. See? And I'm saying the only bad part that I don't like is you talking about you a Moorish American Muslim and you carrying these brothers like you doing. This is why we had the meeting. And I remember we had a meeting and with Charlie Wise and them, Papa Evan, Finger, we had a meeting with a whole lot of brothers. But the law was all these brothers, they want to be a gangster and call themselves that. They can do whatever they want to do, but if they come in the Moorish Science Temple of America, I don't care where you coming from, Leavenworth, Mern, wherever you coming from, because we had a brother by the name of Hess Miller Ill. I say that all the time. And Hess Miller Ill was a brother that was incarcerated for a lot of years, and Lynch-Bey was teaching him. Lynch-Bey was teaching him, but the few brothers out of Washington went in there and took all his literature. And they said they took all the literature because they couldn't understand what he had. They said he had something and we couldn't get no understanding out of what he's trying to say. So we're going to take everything he had. You know why that was? Because when you begin to study the laws of God, the only way that you're going to get an understanding, because the gifts of understanding are the treasures of Allah, and he appointed to everyone his portion in what measure seemeth good unto himself. The only way that you're going to really understand the teachings, you're going to have a clean and pure heart and have to start asking Allah to open up the windows of your heart. So they say now that Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet. And they say after Muhammad, ain't no more gonna come. And that didn't make sense to me, because the book say whenever a nation is in need for a prophet, Allah will send one. He had to send Noble Jew Ali, because if we would not have lost our nationality, we went into Spain, there would have been no need for Noble Jew Ali. Because whenever a nation is in need for a prophet, Allah will send one. So Noble Jew Ali had to come to the Moorish Americans, because right now, not only were we 3/5 of a man, we talking about a granted privilege. We didn't have a nationality. Nationality is the order of the day. Everybody have a nationality except you and me, and all over the world today, they're playing with it. They're playing with it like they did in the election that we just lost, as they say. But right now, I don't care if you Negro, if you colored, if you black, if you Afro-American, if you're any one of those other little things, nationality is a granted privilege if you don't proclaim who you are. So all of the brothers and all of the sisters, especially those that are in the sports world or whatever world you want to come, when they voted for this one and when they voted for that one, and you say you got these college degrees, you say you went to college and you got degrees. But if you went to college and got a degree and now you calling yourself Negro, colored, and black, or let's take away Negro, let's take away colored, and let's put black right there. You calling yourself black, and you are not doing the studying that you're supposed to do. Because if you study who your forefathers were, if you study what transpired when the Moors went into Spain, when the Moors went into Spain in 711, and we went in Spain in 711, we gave the European civilization. Well, they already knew who they were anyway. Just like the Moors. The Moors went into Spain. And when the Moors went into Spain, we already had our nationality. But who was that? Who went into Spain? Who had a religion? Because you say you're this one, you say that you're that one, you are. Because when the Moors went into Spain, we all had a divine creed. We all had a nationality. What is your religion? What is your religion? Your religion is Islamism. You say that you're this one, and you say that you're that one. I agree, because when we went into Spain in 711, everybody wasn't this. Some was this, some was that. You can go to the church today. You got Baptists, you got Protestants, you got Presbyterians. You have a lot of different people of different denominations. But when the Moors went into Spain, we had a nationality, and our nationality was Moorish. You want to be Hebrew? You want to be whichever one. That is who you are, because when you begin to talk about religion anyway, let's look at this again. When you begin to talk about religion, you have to be talking about those of African descent, because the nationality or the religion of all those people that put you and I in the slave took it from you anyway. You took my forefathers. You buried my forefathers in Vatican Square, and you took on our name. And when you find brothers and sisters, even in talking about Sister Tig's ear when she was the Moorish stringstress, when you talk about them, some of them was involved with what transpired with temple number 4. See, we talking about temple number 4, and we talking about temple number 25. And you always hear Parker Bey talking about temple 25. You'll hear him talking about temple 4. But temple 4 got a different concept. And our brothers and our sisters don't want to look at that. And you saying that if you become a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, then Drew Ali ain't who we supposed to be. But the books say that if we wouldn't have lost our nationality, there would have been no need for Noble Drew Ali. But Allah sent him. And Allah sent Noble Drew Ali to let us know that we wasn't Negro, colored, and black, and that we had a nationality. In Surah 49, verse 13, I will raise one up as a prophet. I'll put my word in his mouth that we all can understand. But you understand that nationality is the order of the day. And this is why Allah sent Noble Drew Ali to redeem us from our sinful ways and to warn us of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. Now, we went into Spain. We didn't need a prophet then. We fought with the Ottoman Turks to restore the Islamic creed. And we won. But when we fell in 1492, the last stronghold of the Moors fell, we lost our nationality. We didn't have a nationality. We lost our nationality because we was under the banner of Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. When we lost our nationality, Allah had to send someone to redeem us from our sinful ways and to warn us of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. And it's like that today more so. I remember around 1975. I remember in 1975 when Elijah Poole Bey, because he's with Drew Ali taught him. I remember when he passed form and Warwick Dean Muhammad took charge. Everybody was with him then. And when everybody was with him, he put you in that book. And I want to reiterate what he said. One thing that he said about that book, he said that Surah 33, Ayat 40 said that Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet. Yeah, Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet, but there was a need for Noble Drew Ali to come. There was a need for Allah to send us another prophet because they had to redeem us from our sinful ways and to warn us of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. So now we studying everybody's book. But you know what? It say from 6 to 7, 632, 570 to 632. I was thinking about Hannibal and them. I was thinking about all those brothers back in the 3rd and 4th century. Because 570 to 632, this is before there was a religion of Islam. But we had always taught that because the foundation of Christianity began in Rome. You see? The foundation of Christianity began in Rome, and it was the Roman nations that found the first church of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth. So now we're looking at this again. Will you be giving brief to line genealogy? Jesus, son of Mary, Bethlehem of Judah. Everybody know that in all the world there's two things, the higher self and the lower self. And when we talking about your higher self, we're talking about the European took Jesus' name. They buried him in Vatican Square. Now they call themselves Jesus. They call themselves Jesus, and they took the concepts and the ideology of Jesus and changed it around to fit them. I want to reiterate. You think that a people is going to come in Spain and tell the Moors? Well, you couldn't tell the Moors anything because you tell about the change that we had, but you don't talk about, you done took my religion. You done took everything from me and claimed it as your own. We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, we have all these different holidays, but the key is you're using Jesus. You're using my Jesus. And it's going to be this way until us as a people wake up and start worshiping under our own vine and fig tree. How do you worship under your own vine and fig tree? By living according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's what makes you a Muslim. Not how many times you got and bump your head on some ground. What makes you a Muslim is living love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The 5 principles. You know, they talk about Islam and talk about the 5 pillars. But those 5 pillars are the same principles that Noble Jew Ali brought us of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These principles is what saves us from the wrath of Allah. See? So when you begin to say that Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet, you done bump your head. Because you saying that Allah is not going to send nobody to those of African descent. You say everybody of African descent, you know, you got to learn Arabic and you got to start quoting the way it was. But we was there before. We said that La ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah, bearing witness that there is no God but Allah, that Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet. We said all of that. And we lived that. But during the advent of slavery, because so much transpired, because I told you we fought the Moors, fought with the Ottoman Turks to restore the Islamic creed. And when you begin to look at the record and see that they say they took Jesus and buried Jesus in Vatican Square, they used us. They used the Moors to make these moves. So if they used the Moors to make the move, this was years before we started doing or calling ourselves other than who we are. So now Allah sent us Noble Jew Ali. He sent us Noble Jew Ali with a methodology that will save us from the wrath of Allah. And how did he do that? He sent us someone to talk to us about the wrath of Allah is by teaching us to be themselves. So who are you? I'm an Asiatic Muslim. Why are you Asiatic Muslim? I'm Asiatic Muslim because there's but 2 formulations, Asiatic and European. And I'm showing that European. And I'm Muslim because I submit my will to Allah. I was saying earlier that when I come into the Moorish temple, I had to sit down in a conference call with this brother Lynch-Bey. There were certain things that you couldn't do. All of the brothers that was in the temple, I mean, when you go through change, you can always have 1 or 2 of these things that's going on. But the majority of the brothers that was in the Moorish Science Temple of America in the early 70s, because that's when I was functioning in the early 70s. And one of the things that they gave was 101 questions. And in these 100 questions, you get a chance to understand that before the advent of slavery, you knew who you were and who your forefathers was. But after we went into slavery, then right now we have no knowledge of nothing. But now we know that we're not Negro, cousin, black. Because Negro is a name given to a river. In West Africa by Moors because it contained black water. Ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah, yeah, all that's good. bearing witness that there is no God but Allah. But when Allah sent Noble Drew Ali, he sent us an American-born prophet with the methodology of our growth and development. So when he sent Noble Drew Ali to the Asiatics of America, who was of Moorish descent, the first thing he did was taught us about our nationality. He taught us about our divine creed. He told that we were Negro, colored, or black. He said because these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. He even had to take us back. He had to take us back because we dealing, I posted something the other day about them Obamas, and they was talking about how they had to give Morocco some propers. Because when you begin to talk about Morocco, when was the head of Satan all, or when you begin to talk about Morocco, this putting you back in line with who your forefathers were. That's why when Drew Ali came, he came to redeem us. Because it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the name and principles that delude to slavery. So if you call yourself Negro, if you call yourself colored, if you call yourself black, then you are outside of the constitutional fold. Those who call themselves Moorish Americans and you proclaim your nationality, then you have no rights that a citizen is bound to respect. Now you tell me that I'm a Muslim, but yet you tell me that I'm black. Now if I'm a Muslim, you give me the other part of it. Tell me what is my nationality. Tell me why we Moorish Americans. Tell me why we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. And who are these Moroccans? They are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwest and southwest. Who are these Moabites? They are the biblical sons and daughters of Ham, one of the three sons of Noah, according to the biblical scriptures. And this is why we're Hamitic, by decent nature, by the way of life. Things are turned up and down everywhere. Not only is it turned up and down one way, I'm going back to say what I was just telling Saunders Bay. When Price Bay sent her and the rest of them, who don't care nothing about her though. They don't care nothing about that. They don't care about the ingredients that the prophet sent out for us to take and to redeem us from our sinful ways. He said he sent us a prophet to redeem us from our sinful ways and to warn us of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. So nationality is the order of the day. Everybody needs to proclaim your nationality. If you're here, if you're there, or wherever you are, nationality is the order of the day. We're talking about human identity. We're talking about nationality. We're talking about hooking us back up with the family of nations. Everybody want to talk about reparation. But as long as you're talking about reincarnation, reincarnated prophet, you with this one, you with this side, you ain't with the Moorish American and national, you just with one side. You with the national side, but you ain't with the religious side. But when Drew Ali came, he came and brought us two, because we were 3/5 of a man. They said that we were 3/5 of a man, but there was 2/5 that was missing. The 2/5 that was missing was your nationality and your divine creed. One is spiritual and the other one is that one. You is one or the other. Nationality is the order of the day. Like I say, these little young brothers that I talked to in the last couple of days, they saying that I can't be a Moorish American because if I be the Moorish American, then I'm not honoring Prophet Muhammad. But you got to understand is that whenever a nation is in need of a prophet, Allah will send one. And he sent Noble Drew Ali. He sent over Drew Ali because we went into Spain in 711. And we fell in 1492. So when we failed in 1492, we no longer had the name Negro, Colored, and Black, because these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. So now we're talking about history. We're not talking about his story, we're talking about history. We're talking about the things that transpired during the advent of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's why Allah sent him. They said, why did Allah send Jesus to this earth? For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? For the uplifting of fallen humanity. And how did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish America? By teaching them to be themselves. Man today is what his forefathers were yesterday. And all these little brothers that say, man, Ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah. Well, what is your nationality, man? You keep talking about religion. What is your nationality? Nationality is the order of the day. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and is subject to all inferior named abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the name and principles that delude to slavery. Now, what are the names that delude to slavery? If Drew Ali came, and he came from Allah, and we fought with the Ottoman Turks to restore the Islamic creed, if he came, then what did he come to bring us? He came and told us that we wasn't Negro, colored, and black. He said, because with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they're not Negroes, colored folk, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. I'm listening at the news, and I'm listening at the President of the United States. I'm looking at the President-elect, and I'm looking at all these wars that's going over all across the country. And I see how the Europeans is giving everybody so many billions and so many millions of dollars to help them in their war. And one of them that they sent the money to is those who say that they was Jewish. And those who say they're Jewish, look at them. They look just like Europeans. Ain't no such thing as a Jewish. When you look at a Jew, you're looking at a European. Look at Kamala Harris' husband. He's a European. And when you begin to talk about Germans, that is where you look at the Jews. I remember I was in Vietnam. And when I was in Vietnam, a lot of my friends was in Germany. And we talked about that all the time. Because you need to know your history. Not his story, but you need to know your history. And through the advent of slavery, just like they took Jesus, buried Jesus in Vatican Square, they took on the name, it's the same thing that they're doing with you and me. They got us calling people from Germany who really had no right to be who Jesus' mother Mary was. Because Jesus' mother Mary always taught that she was a Jewish girl. And when anybody talk about the Jews, you know that they're talking about those of African descent. See? Because you're talking about Abraham, you're talking about Boaz by Ruth, you're talking about Jesse, you're talking about King David, you're talking about Solomon. Now look at it, we talking about King David, and we talking about Solomon, and we talking about Hezekiah, and we're talking about Joseph by Murray, which is our history. But you're trying to burn the library. You don't want us to know about history. You want us to know about his story. See, he got a story, and we are the story, because we are the builders that they rejected. See, you took my forefathers, you buried them in Vatican Square. You took on my name. And it's like that today. It's going to be even greater because, like I said, we had to go and take the prophet's grave site and bring it back up, because they had took it and went under so much and nobody was going to see. They admitted today, wasn't nobody going. Asking people, wasn't nobody going to no grave site to see the prophet, because you were still getting money from the European nation that was paying you. We understand that, and we can't be mad with you because you just like everybody else. You blind. He said, you're blind, and yet they cannot see the light. Nor is the prophet trying to put wine in old skins, for he knows that it will burst them. Yet he had the remedies for the nations. The same remedy brought by Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, which remedy is the truth. It said the nations do not want the truth. It is too stern. But until they find out where there truly is, they will continue to be religious controversy. So now we're talking about religious controversy. He said, but there's but one supreme issue. And all you brothers that's over there without a nationality and just want to talk about religion, there's but one supreme issue that my people need to use to redeem that which was lost. And that is by you proclaiming who you are and who your forefathers were. This is why Allah, in his infinite wisdom, sent us Noble Ali. And all the brothers that come up with me, you know it. You went to school with me. You went to John F. Cook with me. You went to Bundy School with me. You went to Shaw Junior High School with me. You went to Dunbar with me. And during all that time, we see us keep changing. 1 minute, we're this way. The next minute, we're that way. The next minute, no telling where we are. So this is why when you find brothers talking about Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet in that era of time. Because if we wouldn't have lost our nationality, there would have been no need for Allah to send Noble Ali. But he had to send Noble Ali to hook us back up with the family of nations. He had to hook us back up. Because when Drew Ali came, he told that we were Negro, colored, and black. He said these names were given to slaves by slaveholders. And who is slaveholder? Who is the slaveholder? You know what? They got nationality. And their nationality of European descent. But you know what? Some of the ones that had a nationality, they call themselves Jew today. They call themselves Jew because they done buried my Jesus and took everything. Because when you're talking about Mary, Jesus' mother, and we see when Mary said that she was a Jewish girl, and you see when they took all this from her, and how they took all this from you and me, but when Noble Drew Ali came, he changed the whole methodology. This is why you find a lot of brothers and sisters is still on the payroll with the European. And you see the brothers and sisters, we don't need to get on no payroll. All we need to get in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, then you'll be entitled to the name of faithful. He said, husband, you must support your wife and children. He said, wife, you must obey your husband, take care of your children, and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious. Now look at this. Drew Ali said, sons and daughters must obey father and mother. And if you obey your father, and if you obey your mother, then one thing you know, that you're not Negro, you're not colored, and you're not black, and you're not Afro-American. See, because Negro is a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contained black water. You're not colored. Colored is anything that has been painted. Let me hold up for a minute, man, because I want to get back to this. We need to look at this. We need to start studying this, because everybody that look at this tape, your whole family call themselves black. Everybody that listens to this tape, all your family calls themselves black. And that means that you are outside of the constitutional fold. You have no rights that a citizen is bound to respect. And we're talking about a blessing, and this is why I was so happy that I become a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, because in 1956, Lynch-Bey taught those brothers out of Washington, D.C. the truth about themselves, and that there was not Negro, colored, and black, and that these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of town now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Jew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. See, because the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. So this is for the children. You need to tell your mother that. Ask your mother, is your mother 75 years or 73, 74, 75, 70? Ask them, was they always Negro? Was they always colored? I had to talk to my cousin Ruth who passed, and cousin Ruth used to go to the ball game, to look at it, because they had the Negro League. Color wasn't even there yet. We had the Negro League. And all of us that played baseball, we couldn't even play with the Europeans because we was Negro, colored, and whatever else they wanted to call us. See? So, and then we became colored. And then after they killed Martin Luther King, we become black. And then everybody started calling them black. They basically was revolutionaries. They was the one that was fighting against the government. But the only way you're going to beat this government is be who you are. See, you ain't going to beat this government by you going and talk to them about getting a knife and that you black and you want your human rights. But who were you before you was black? Who were you before you was a Negro? Who were you before you was colored? Because these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. They got their independence March 2nd, under the French rule. So we said it was under the French rule. If the ancient Moabites, if someone is under the French rule, who are the French? So now we talking about Spain, and we talking about the French. What lesson do the French have with the Moorish American Muslims? And we're Moorish Americans because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. Who are these Moroccans? These Moroccans are the biblical sons and daughters of Ham, one of the three sons of Noah according to the biblical scriptures. And this is why we are Hamitic by decent nature by the way of Lot. And Lot is the son of Haran. Haran, then Abel is the son of Terah. Terah is the son of Reu. Reu is the son of Pelah. Pelah is the son of Eber. Eber is the son of Salah. Salah is the son of Arphaxad, and Arphaxad is the son of Shem. See? And Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And when you talk about Ham, you're talking about me. When you're talking about Shem, and then when you're talking about Japheth. See, you're talking about the European nations too. The European nations involved in this because they took everything from you and me. They stole everything. And all of us, we look alike. When I first grew up, certain things you wouldn't even see brothers doing. Man, they licking, they sucking, and they doing everything that's diametrically opposed to what our families taught us. My father, he born 1898. My uncle's older than that. All of them gave us certain kind of lessons. Things that you don't do. Things that you don't get involved with. This is why you find a lot of brothers always talking gangster talk in jail. You got to realize you disrespecting what we doing because you just talking about one entity. You talking about one entity, but there's a lot of other entities that we need to talk about in dealing with us as those of African descent. I remember I had a cousin named Greta Murchison, daughter named Michelle, her husband Cliff. And I played hooky. I went up Banneker. She was assistant principal up there. A lot of people knew him. Man, I went up there with my man Larry. Played hooky up there. And man, she told me, you better get to school before I let your parents know. And the reason why I said that is because you had a lot of family members that was living a moral and clean life. When you used to look years ago, and when we was children, churches were strong. Churches were strong and everybody was in the church because this is where they got their moral and clean life. And then you had a lot of us that want to learn that lesson. Because I got a lot of brothers and sisters right now that grew up with me. They still in the church. They still trying to learn. But what we need to get them to understand now to take it on another level, because the first thing you got to do is proclaim your nationality. See? That's why in our 101 question, Drew Ali gave us some lessons. He said, would you give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came? And it had nothing to do with what people done took from you or what they done took from my Jesus. Because Jesus looked just like you. Jesus looked just like me. When you talk about Jacqueline and when you talk about Boaz, they are the 2 pillars. And when you talk about Jacqueline and Boaz, you have to remind this when we're talking about Jesus, how they took and buried Jesus. They said some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, father of the faithful, Boaz by Ruth. Then we had Jesse, we had King David, and we had Solomon. See, now we got the King of David. See, when you talk about the King of David, you talking about the Solomon, you talking about the bloodline, you talking about the genealogy. So you talking about some of the great fathers through which Jesus came: Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and here go the other 2, Joseph by Mary. Joseph by Mary. So now we know King David, we know Solomon, we know Joseph, we know Zacharias. See, we knew all of these lessons because they came out of the east. It say from the east comes all light. And though the sun is hanging at high noon, the blind cannot see the light. The same as the Islamic creed brought to the Asiatics of North America by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who offered to those who were sick at heart, tried for many years, yet they are blind and cannot see the light, nor the prophet trying to put new wine in old skins. So what you need to do right now is study the prophet. Muhammad is right there. We done studied him anyway. You look in the Moorish Quran, you're going to see him there. Because we're talking about the Moorish Holy Quran now. And we know that Drew Ali bought page 3. He bought page 3, but he bought us 45, 46, 47, and 48. He bought us just to study, and he bought us the book of the 7 seals. But in this book, that he brought us is the acoustic records. And when you begin to talk about the acoustic records, you're talking about universal mind. And the reason why I say that is because the time that we are talking about, you wasn't even in existence. You took it, they tried to analyze it, but they took my Jesus. They buried all of us in Vatican Square. And I found that too. I met a lot of brothers that came in the Moorish Science Temple. Then they left the Moorish Science Temple. Now they named it Omar and all these different funny kind of names, and then you'll come back later on. But we have to understand that we have to all learn all of these things so we could pass them on to our children. It ain't about you. It ain't about me. It's about the children. But you still going to have to overcome. You know, many ages man going to tarry until all his lessons have been learned. So 50-something years I've been here trying to study the prophet. And I'm doing pretty good lately. But we have to learn the prophet and be the message that we bring. They say, who are you? I say, I'm Asiatic Muslim. He said, why are you Asiatic Muslim? Listen, I want to read again. He said, I'm Asiatic Muslim because there's two formulations. There are Asiatic and European. And I'm sure not European. And I'm a Muslim because I submit my will to Allah. But in going back to talking about when Lynch-Bey sent these brothers and sisters up there, again, I want to give honor to Shiek on these Saunders Bay, because she carried it for a lot of years and still is carrying it. And I'm always honored when I correspond with her. So the need for unity is so great that it's better to unite than to eat, sleep, drink, talk, or walk. This is the hour of deception. A house divided cannot stand. And for that cause, we're preparing ourselves to become one again with thy Father, God Allah. We must remember the mighty and great need for unity. We must remember the cause of our fall. And why is it so hard for this age to comprehend the resurrection of the dead? Drew Ali gave us some things that you got a million other people out there that's grab on the same thing. I met some sheiks last week, and in my conversation with them, they study all of the books. We study all of the books. We study all of the books that Allah sent. But there's certain things that you and I need to look and understand, because nationality is the order of the day. A person without a nationality is like a tree without roots. And if you call yourself Negro, colored, and black, you have become a dead entity. You're not honoring your father nor your mother, so that your days will be longer upon the earth land which the Lord thy God, Allah, has given thee. The only black flag that I know through my scientific study and investigation, the only black flag that I know is the one that killed roaches. We're talking about a black flag. We're talking about a black man who is a black man. And if you call yourself black, you have no rights that a citizen is bound to respect. And if you call yourself black, then you telling me at the same time that Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophets, then what about me being put into slavery? And these are names that was given to me by slaveholders. And the prophet said 1,000,000 times in our literature, 1779, and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. He said, but this is a new era of time now. And all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Jew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. You know, when you talk about our brothers and our sisters, and what you hear all the time that's in the church, you're always going to hear Jesus' name. But those brothers and sisters that's from Saudi Arabia, you don't want to hear Jesus' name no more. All you want to do is say Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet, but you got to understand Jesus was before him. See? You got to understand that. Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. See? These names Drew Ali gave us. This is when Drew Ali hooked us back up with the family of nations. When you get your nationality, then you're being hooked back up with the family of nations. You have two selves. You have a higher self and you have a lower self. Your higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. Drew Ali gave us this. He gave us this to study. He told us when we first joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, the first thing you need to learn is your Moorish literature, your divine constitution and bylaws, your additional laws, your 101 questions, and you learn all these things, and there's what's going to hook you back up with the family of nations. So we'll complete this another time, and this time I'd like to say the Moorish American prayer, and I'm honored to come before you here in Portland, Oregon. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Peace.